Today, all the loads that I'm going to be testing that were hand loads are going to be 2 3/4 inch federal hulls. What they are the target and field hulls. And I'm also using a Caldwell Ballistic Precision chronograph to test the speeds of the loads. Ultimately, what I found out is when it's a bright sunny day, the chronograph will not work. You'll need some shade. So again, what I've done is I've used my Easy Up to use that as shade so we get accurate readings. You see that I have the sunshades on. So those don't do anything when it's sunny like this unless the sun is in the perfect position. What I have them on there now for is just kind of helps you line up so that you get the barrel lined up straight with the chronograph so you get a reading every time. I know I have heard some reviews in regards to the chronograph that people don't like it. You just have to be aware of how you need to use it and proper setup to get it to work. Again, it doesn't like direct sunlight, and if you can use something to shade the light out, it's working very well for me, and I'm glad I purchased it. Stay tuned for the test loads. Today we're going to be testing some goose loads. I'm going to start out testing my chronograph to make sure it's working properly with some previous tested loads. And 14 feet per second, 14 feet per second shows me the chronograph is reading properly. These are trap loads. The first load I'm going to be testing today is a reloaded federal hull with 36 grains of Blue Dot, an MG42 wad with 1 ounce of BBs. We are shooting at 30 yards. (1,443 feet per second, 1,443 feet per second. We'll go down and take a look, see what the pattern looks like. It's a really nice pattern. Pattern a little bit left of where I was aiming, but definitely looks like a decent pattern. This is going to be the second shot of the exact same load. 36 of Blue Dot MG42 wad with 1 ounce of steel BBs. That one's running at 1426, 1,426 feet per second. We'll go down and take a look at the target. Pretty decent pattern. It's going to be just a touch low where I was aiming. The second load I'm going to test is 21 grains of Longshot in a TPS wad, 1 ounce and 1/8 of BB, and again this is reloaded in a federal hull at 30 yards. I do have 2 of these shells, so we'll fire the first one, walk down, take a look, and then we'll fire the second one. (1366, 1,366 feet per second. This is load number 2 of 23 Longshot with a TPS wad, 1 ounce and 1/8 of steel BBs at 30 yards. 1,320 feet per second, 1,320 feet per second. We'll walk down and take a look. Just like the last target, again, this is for goose hunting. I think we could easily take down a goose with that type of a pattern. So the third load we're testing today, again in a Federal hull, once fired. It's going to be 29.5 grains of Blue Dot in a TPS wad with 1 1/8 ounce of BB. And again, we're at 30 yards. .1235, 1,235 feet per second. It looks like we got a really nice pattern. It's going to be pretty equal to the Longshot. The biggest difference is going to be our feet per second. This round is a little bit slower. Okay, this is going to be shot number 2 of 29.5 of Blue Dot, a TPS wad, and 1 1/8 ounce of steel BBs. .1,243 feet per second, 1,243 feet per second. We'll go down and take a look. Again, this is a very nice looking pattern. This load here is a factory load. It's a Winchester 3-inch number 2s with 1 1/8 ounce of shot in it. Again, it's a 3-inch shell, 1 1/8 ounce shot, number 2s. I believe it's running at 1450, right around 1450 feet per second. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna compare this load to the previous loads to see if we got a decent handmade goose load. That was running at 1872, 1,872 feet per second. So again, we're comparing this to a 2 3/4 reload. If you can see that in there, that's a little bit better. Got a little shadow on it. Okay, so we'll come in here without the shadow now. So again, this is comparing to a 2 3/4 hand loads on all of our previous loads. This is a 3-inch shell. I'm going to say the patterns are very equal. The speed difference is huge also. But the one thing I want to point out is if you're out doing your target shooting with trap, clay pigeons, skeet, any of that type of shooting, most of those shells are running around 1,200 feet per second to 1,300 feet per second. And if you jump into a duck or a goose load and they're running anywhere from that 15 to 1,800 feet per second, until you get adjusted over, you may be missing those geese just because, you know, your eye and your brain has been trained to shoot with that target load running around that 12 to 1,300 feet per second. Actually, you have to be mindful of how far you're shooting with a lot of these loads. Again, the previous loads, my goal is to shoot anywhere from 30 to 40 yards max. I'm not out here trying to shoot the high flyers. So again, that's my goal of what I'm looking for. Ultimately, I would like to have a little bit faster speed, but right now I am unable to get any of the Alliance steel powder to get much more speed out of the rounds that I have. From what I've seen is the long shot's going to give me my best speed.